If a man is constantly thinking about you, he won't always say it directly, but his actions will scream it louder than words. The way he talks, the way he remembers, the way he shows up, these are the clues that reveal you're living in his mind every single day. You'll never need to ask if you're on his mind, because when a man can't stop thinking about you, his every move, every glance, every choice quietly gives him away. When a man truly thinks about you all the time, one of the clearest signs is the way he prioritizes communication with you, even when life is pulling him in different directions. Think about it. Communication is not just about exchanging words. It is about showing presence, attention, and consistency. When someone makes a conscious effort to reach out to you, whether it's with a simple good morning text, a random call in the middle of the day, or even just a funny meme that made him think of you, it means you are at the forefront of his mind. Men by nature can get lost in their work, responsibilities, or personal goals, but when you matter deeply, no matter how hectic his schedule is, he will carve out those moments just to connect with you. That effort says more than long speeches about love, because it is in the small daily actions where consistency reveals true intention. When a man is always finding ways to talk to you, it's not just about filling silence, it's about building closeness. He is not reaching out because he has to, but because he wants to. His instinct drives him to share his day with you, to tell you about something he saw, or to check in on how you are doing. It shows that you are integrated into his inner world, because when something happens in his life, his first thought is how much he wants to tell you about it. That simple act of wanting to share is a window into his heart, because it shows he does not just want you to be a part of special occasions, he wants you to be part of the everyday moments too. This type of communication is effortless for him, because his thoughts naturally gravitate toward you, and so reaching out becomes second nature. It is not only about frequency, but also about quality. When a man thinks about you often, he will not just send empty messages, he will communicate in a way that carries meaning. He will ask you questions, not just out of politeness, but because he genuinely wants to know what is happening in your world. He will remember what you told him earlier and circle back to ask about it, proving he was listening and holding on to your words. For example, if you mentioned you had an important meeting, he may text later to ask how it went, because even while he was away, your experience was on his mind. This is what separates a man who is simply chatting from a man who truly cares. His communication carries thoughtfulness, it shows investment, and it makes you feel like you are truly seen. The consistency of his communication is also telling. A man who thinks about you all the time doesn't vanish for days without explanation. He doesn't keep you guessing whether you are on his mind. Instead, his effort is steady, showing up day after day in ways that let you know you matter to him. This is not about sending hundreds of messages, but about reliability, the comfort of knowing he will always find a way to let you know you are important. This consistency is what builds emotional security, because when you know someone is consistently thinking about you, you feel safe letting them into your heart. Even in moments when he cannot physically be there, his words bridge the gap. Maybe he calls you at night just to hear your voice before he goes to sleep. Or maybe he leaves you a sweet message before an early meeting so that you wake up smiling. Those little gestures are proof that you live rent-free in his mind, that you are the first and last thought of his day. A man who does this is not just communicating to pass time, he is communicating to remind you that you are important, and in doing so, he is also revealing the depth of how much space you occupy in his thoughts and emotions. When a man constantly thinks about you, one of the most powerful ways it shows is in how he remembers the small details you share with him. Most people can remember the big things, your birthday, the way you like your coffee, or the movie you said was your favorite, But when someone goes out of their way to recall the little things, the things you might not even remember mentioning, that is when you know you are truly living in his mind. A man who thinks about you all the time pays attention to the details because his heart is invested, and when your heart is invested, nothing feels insignificant. Every word you say, every little story you share becomes valuable to him, almost like he is collecting pieces of you that he wants to hold on to. Think about those times when you casually mentioned a small struggle you were having, maybe about work, a friend, or even something as simple as running out of your favorite snack. Days later, he surprises you by checking in, asking how that situation turned out, or even showing up with the snack you said you missed. That's not coincidence, and it's not just good memory. It's care. It's a sign that he was thinking about you even when you weren't around, replaying your words in his head and wanting to show you that what matters to you matters to him too. This is the type of attentiveness that cannot be faked because it flows naturally from someone who truly places you in a priority space within his thoughts. Another beautiful sign is when he surprises you with something thoughtful that ties back to a past conversation. Maybe weeks ago you mentioned that you loved a certain flower but rarely buy it for yourself, and one day he walks in holding a small bouquet of that very flower. Or perhaps you once told him about a childhood memory that made you happy, and out of nowhere he brings it up again, reminding you that he was not only listening but cherishing the little moments you entrusted to him. Men who think about you constantly do not let those details slip away. They carry them, sometimes quietly, until the right moment to remind you that you are deeply valued. When he remembers the small things, it also shows that he listens with the intent to understand, not just to reply. This is a rare quality because in a world where so many people only half listen, the act of being fully present in a conversation becomes extraordinary. A man who keeps you in his thoughts does not just listen to your words, he listens to the emotions behind them. He notices your tone when you talk about your dreams. He remembers the sparkle in your eyes when you share your passions, and he holds on to those things because they allow him to connect with you on a deeper level. It is not about recalling facts, it is about honoring the essence of who you are. It also creates a sense of intimacy that is incredibly powerful. When someone remembers details about you, you feel seen, you feel special, and you feel important. It is as if your presence leaves an imprint in his mind, and no matter how much else is going on in his life, those imprints remain. This type of memory is not casual. It comes from care and attention. It is the difference between being just another person in his world and being the person who stands out so strongly that even the smallest things about you are unforgettable. That's why when a man remembers the details, it's not just about his memory, it's about his heart, revealing that you are constantly there, living in his thoughts and shaping his actions in ways both subtle and profound. When a man cannot get you out of his head, it shows in the way he finds reasons to be around you. Human nature is simple in this sense. We naturally gravitate toward the people we think about the most, and when a man feels drawn to you, he will quietly rearrange parts of his life just to create moments of closeness. It does not always come across as a grand gesture. Sometimes it is as subtle as showing up where he knows you will be, offering to run errands with you, or making himself available when you need support. These little acts of presence reveal that being around you is not just something he enjoys, but something he craves. Because when you are in his space, his thoughts feel fulfilled. The pull toward you is so strong that he looks for excuses to close the gap between thought and reality, moving from simply thinking about you to actually being in your presence. When a man is constantly thinking about you, he does not want to leave it at conversation alone. He wants to feel your energy, your smile, and your presence. This is why he finds ways to spend time together, even if it is something as small as stopping by for a quick hello. He may suggest doing things together that don't require a big plan, because to him it's not about the activity, it's about being able to look at you, hear your voice, and feel that you are near. If you mention you're going to the gym, he may suddenly want to join, or if you talk about grabbing coffee, he might just happen to be free at the same time. It's not coincidence, it's intention disguised as convenience, and that is his way of bridging the distance between his thoughts of you and his desire to see you in real life. Another sign is the way he shows up when you need him most, without hesitation. If you have an important event, a presentation, or even just a stressful day ahead, he'll find a way to be present, even if his schedule is tight. This kind of effort shows that his thoughts of you are not passive, they are active, driving him to show up in meaningful ways. He does not just want to be part of the happy moments, he wants to share in the hard ones too. Because when he thinks about you, he does not imagine a life where he is absent. He imagines himself right there, standing beside you. This desire to be around you is also revealed in how he adapts his time. We all know that time is the most valuable resource, and people rarely give it freely unless they deeply care. When a man who thinks about you all the time makes adjustments to see you, even if it means sacrificing something else, it shows how high you rank in his priorities. Maybe he leaves work a little early to catch dinner with you. Maybe he shifts his weekend plans just to fit into yours. Or maybe he chooses to spend his downtime with you instead of elsewhere. These decisions may seem small on the surface, but they are fueled by the bigger truth that being around you is more rewarding to him than anything else he could be doing. Even in group settings, his focus gravitates toward you. If you're at the same gathering, you'll notice how his eyes keep finding you across the room, how he drifts closer in conversation, or how he positions himself where he can engage with you more easily. That quiet pull toward your presence is not random, it's a reflection of how often you occupy his thoughts. He doesn't just want to think about you from a distance, he wants to experience you up close, to blur the line between imagination and reality by simply being where you are. This pattern of seeking closeness speaks volumes because it is instinctive. A man who is truly wrapped up in thoughts of you will naturally want to turn those thoughts into shared experiences. It is his way of satisfying the longing he feels when you're not around, his way of turning constant thoughts into lived moments. And in those moments, you see the truth that his effort to be near you is not about convenience or coincidence. It is about the undeniable fact that when someone is always in your mind, being near them feels like the most natural thing in the world. When a man is thinking about you all the time, one of the most telling signs is the way he begins to include you in his future plans. This does not always mean grand declarations about forever, but it shows up in subtle ways where his language and vision naturally expand to include you. When he talks about what he wants to do next week, next month, or even years down the road, you start to hear the word we instead of I. That shift is not accidental, it is intentional, even if he doesn't consciously realize it. It means that in his mind, life is no longer just about his individual path, it is about creating shared experiences with you. This instinct to involve you in his future is a reflection of how deeply you occupy his thoughts, because he is no longer planning his world as a solo journey, he is planning it with you in the picture. It can show up in small, playful comments, like him saying you two should try a new restaurant together, or joking about how you would both handle traveling to a certain place. These little moments matter because they show that his thoughts about the future naturally bring you into the frame. He cannot think about possibilities without seeing you there. The casual way he does it may not always sound serious, but underneath it is the truth. His mind is already making space for you in tomorrow. This is not something men do unless someone has truly gotten under their skin and taken hold of their thoughts. It becomes even clearer when he talks about bigger life goals and dreams. If he starts opening up about what he wants to achieve in his career, where he wants to live, or what kind of lifestyle he envisions, and he is eager to know how you feel about it, that is a sign that you are not just part of his present, but his imagined future as well. He wants to know if your dreams align with his, because he is thinking of a path that intertwines both of your lives. This kind of inclusion is powerful because it means he is not just daydreaming about you in passing. He is building scenarios where you walk alongside him in the long run. Men who think about you all the time often slip into this kind of future-oriented talk without realizing it, because when someone occupies your thoughts, they shape the way you see what's ahead. It may be as simple as him saying he wants you to come with him to a family event, or as meaningful as him sharing hopes for a home or lifestyle that fits both of you. These are not just empty words, they are a window into how strongly you exist in his imagination. You have become a part of his mental blueprint, and that is one of the clearest signs of someone who carries you in his thoughts constantly. It also shows in how he seeks your input when he makes decisions. A man who is always thinking about you doesn't want to make choices in isolation, because in his mind, your opinion matters for both his present and his future. Whether it's something small like where to go for dinner, or something bigger like considering a job move, he wants your perspective because you are part of how he envisions life unfolding. This kind of inclusion is not about dependence, it's about connection. He values your voice because when he thinks about happiness, stability, and fulfillment, you are at the center of that vision. The most powerful part of this is how natural it feels when it happens. He is not forcing it, and he is not saying these things just to impress you. It flows out because he truly cannot separate his future from your presence in it. His thoughts are so full of you that even when he is looking ahead, you are there, woven into his plans without hesitation. This is the mark of someone who doesn't just see you as a moment in his life, but as someone who belongs in the chapters yet to come. And that kind of inclusion only happens when you have become a permanent resident in his heart and mind. When a man cannot stop thinking about you, it often shows in the way he seeks your opinion and approval before making decisions, both big and small. This is not about him lacking confidence in himself. It is about the value he places on your perspective. He respects the way you see the world, he trusts your judgment, and most importantly, he cares about how his choices affect you. When someone constantly has you in their thoughts, they do not just think about their own path, they think about how you fit into it, and part of that comes through wanting to hear your voice before moving forward. It is his way of saying that your opinion matters enough to influence the direction of his life. It may start with simple, everyday things. Maybe he asks you what you think about the shirt he should wear, or which restaurant he should choose, or how he should respond to a situation at work. These may seem small, almost trivial, but they reveal something deeper. When his mind is occupied with thoughts of you, he wants to align himself with your preferences, your style, and your way of thinking. It is not about needing guidance, it is about connection. He feels closer to you when you are part of his decision-making process, even in the smallest ways. It makes him feel like he is sharing life with you, like you are involved in the steps he takes each day. Over time, this expands into more significant matters. When he is considering career moves, financial decisions, or personal goals, he turns to you because you are not just in his present, you are in his vision of the future. He wants to know if what he is building resonates with you, if the direction he is going in is one you can walk beside him in. This is powerful because it reveals how deeply he thinks of you when shaping his path. A man who constantly has you on his mind does not just move forward alone, he mentally carries you with him into every possibility, and he wants reassurance that the life he is creating is one you can share. This desire for your opinion also reflects reflects the emotional weight you hold in his life. Men do not open this door easily. To consistently seek your input means he has elevated you to a place of influence that goes beyond surface-level attraction. It means he sees you as someone whose values and thoughts matter as much as his own, someone who can offer clarity when he is unsure, and someone whose approval makes his decisions feel more complete. Your voice becomes part of his internal dialogue, and when he does something, he imagines how you might feel about it. That kind of presence in his decision-making is not casual. It is a sign of constant thought and deep emotional involvement. It is also important to understand that this does not come from weakness. On the contrary, it comes from strength and care. A man who thinks about you all the time is not surrendering his independence. He is choosing to integrate his life with yours. Seeking your opinion does not mean he cannot decide on his own. It means he does not want to decide without you. That distinction is vital. It is not about dependence, it is about respect and love. It shows that in his mind, the idea of moving through life without your perspective feels incomplete, because you have become a central figure in his world. The beauty of this is how natural it feels when it happens. He may not even realize how often he checks with you, but if you look closely, you will see the pattern. Every time he pauses before making a choice and asks for your thoughts, every time he shares his plans to hear what you think, it is a reflection of how much space you take up in his mind. You are not just someone he cares about in the present, you are someone whose approval shapes how he moves forward. And that only happens when a person is constantly on your mind, guiding your decisions, influencing your actions, and becoming an inseparable part of how you view the world around you. When a man thinks about you all the time, it becomes clear in the way he shows genuine concern for your happiness and well-being. This kind of concern is not forced. It is not about obligation. It flows naturally from a heart and mind that are constantly occupied by thoughts of you. When you live in his head, he does not only think about his own life or what makes him happy. He thinks about how you are doing, how you are feeling, and whether you are in a good place. That care is woven into his actions, into the way he communicates with you, and into the subtle ways he tries to make your days brighter. It is one of the most undeniable signs of someone who cannot get you out of his thoughts, because the more someone thinks of you, the more invested they become in your joy. It shows up in small, consistent gestures. He checks in on you, not because it is polite, but because he genuinely wants to know how your day went, how you are handling stress, or whether you got enough rest. He listens for hints about what might be weighing on you, and he takes mental notes on how he can help. If you casually mention that you are tired or feeling overwhelmed, he will circle back later to ask if you are okay, or he might offer to help lighten your load in any way he can. These are not empty words. They are signs of his thoughts spilling into action. A man who constantly thinks about you cannot simply ignore your struggles. He feels them in some way as his own, and he wants to ease them because your happiness is tied to his peace of mind. This genuine concern also shows in the way he notices shifts in your mood. If something feels off, even if you try to hide it, he will sense it and ask what is wrong. He is tuned into your energy because he is always thinking about you, and that awareness allows him to notice even the subtle changes in your tone, your body language, or your expressions. He pays attention because he cares, and he cares because you occupy his mind so much that he cannot detach himself from how you are feeling. To him, your happiness is not just yours alone. It becomes something that deeply matters to him as well. When a man thinks about you all the time, he also takes joy in seeing you happy, and he will make efforts to bring that smile to your face. It could be as simple as sending you something that makes you laugh, surprising you with your favorite food, or creating moments of comfort when you need them. These are not grand staged efforts, but natural expressions of someone whose mind is preoccupied with you. He is not just thinking about what he wants from the relationship, he is thinking about what he can give, because giving to you feels like giving to himself. Your happiness becomes part of his own fulfillment, and that is why his concern feels so genuine. This kind of care also extends to supporting your dreams and goals. He wants you to succeed, not only because it makes you proud, but because he genuinely feels joy in your achievements. When you talk about your ambitions, he listens, encourages you, and sometimes even helps create opportunities for you to grow. His support is consistent because his thoughts of you are consistent. He cannot imagine being a passive observer in your life. He wants to be someone who contributes to your happiness, your growth, and your peace of mind. What makes this genuine concern so powerful is that it is not temporary. It does not appear only when things are easy or when it benefits him. It shows up in difficult times, when you are struggling, when you are not at your best, when life feels heavy. A man who constantly thinks about you does not turn away in those moments. He leans in because his mind and heart are too connected to you to stay distant. He is present, he is steady, and he shows through his concern that you are not just someone he thinks about occasionally. You are someone he thinks about always, and someone whose happiness has become inseparable from his own sense of meaning. When you look at all of these signs together, a clear picture emerges of what it truly means when a man cannot stop thinking about you. It is in the way he prioritizes communication, not because he has to, but because he genuinely wants to share his world with you. It is in the way he remembers the smallest details, proving that your words linger in his mind long after the conversation ends. It is in the way he finds reasons to be near you, showing that his thoughts naturally drive him toward your presence. It is in the way he includes you in his future, shifting his vision from I to we, because in his heart he cannot imagine tomorrow without you in it. It is in the way he seeks your opinion, valuing your perspective as if it carries the power to guide his decisions. And it is in the way he shows deep, genuine concern for your happiness, because to him, your joy becomes his own. These are not surface gestures. They are reflections of something much deeper. They are the quiet yet undeniable proof that you occupy his heart and mind in a way that no one else does. Love is rarely about one grand declaration. It is about the consistent actions that show you are always present in his thoughts. When a man does these things, he is not just showing affection in the moment, he is revealing the depth of his connection to you, a connection that lives in his mind when you are near and when you are far. And that is the truest sign of someone who is not only thinking about you all the time, but building a life around the space you hold in his heart.